Почитувани, добар ден. Следува изјава.
Good afternoon. We will hear the statement of the President of the Government of the Republic of North Macedonia and Madam Sanna Marin, Prime Minister of the Republic of Finland. Afterwards, we will have questions from the media. Mr. Kovacevski. Distinguished Prime Minister of the Republic of Finland, Sanna Marin, distinguished members of the delegation of the Government of the Republic of Finland, distinguished members of the press, distinguished citizens. It is my immense pleasure to welcome the Prime Minister Marin and her delegation for the first time to North Macedonia. I'm convinced that will be the first of many more visits between governments with shared North Atlantic future. North Macedonia is a great supporter of NATO's open door policy, and in my capacity as Prime Minister during my visit to NATO, I openly supported Sweden and Finland's initiative for NATO membership. I hope that very soon they will become members, although at the same time, we should take into consideration all legitimate concerns of the member states. We hope that this situation will be resolved soon, for which we will provide our support. Our government in May this year authorized a permanent representative of North Macedonia to NATO to give its consent for admission of the Kingdom of Sweden and Republic of Finland into NATO. We believe that the accession protocols for membership will be signed when time comes for it. We believe that Sweden's and Finland's membership is contribution to reinforcing the stability in Europe, especially in the context of the unprovoked Russian military invasion over Ukraine, leading to changes of the European security policy. We would like to express our respect and encouragement to the Republic of Finland and its independent sovereign right to regulate its long-term security strategies. Finland's NATO membership will significantly increase the security in the Euro-Atlantic region, especially in the region of High North and the Baltic. The Finnish army is compatible and interoperable with NATO, and it had regular and frequent military exercises with NATO, and it participated and contributed to all NATO missions and operations. The Republic of Finland is a dedicated supporter of EU's enlargement with countries from the Western Balkans. North Macedonia will never forget Finland's insistence for a country to start membership negotiations with the EU in the fall of 2019 during its presidency. It was a strong, friendly gesture of Finland. Even today, North Macedonia is fully prepared and committed to Euro integrations. Our legislation is 45% harmonized with the acquis. The European Union is our most significant trading partner. The country is progressing on its path. We have proven that we are a reliable partner and that we are committed to dialogue for finding the real solution that will secure the blocking of the negotiations and Euro integration process. Our government is obligated to find fast but not hasty solution based on European values. We will not negotiate on our identity and language. This is more than clear. The solution that will result from the open dialogue will need to take into consideration the citizens' dignity and to reflect European values. The war in Ukraine, in its most tragic way, has shown that EU's enlargement with North Macedonia is no longer an issue of enlargement. It is a geostrategic and security issue, both for our country and for the region. I mentioned the region because the blockage we are facing today has negative impact over the whole region and influences EU's credibility and integrity, and vice versa. The positive impulses that will be brought by the beginning of North Macedonia's negotiations with the EU will resonate widely and will bring greater prosperity to the entire Balkans. Additionally, the lack of strong and resolute decision for commencement of accession negotiations will provide space for third parties' influences and anti-democratic forces, which is very damaging from the geostrategic aspect. This is something that Finland knows very well, and that is why we share the same views that negotiations with North Macedonia must start immediately. North Macedonia and Finland continued their friendship with this visit today. The business community from Finland paid visit to our country, and it has expressed particular interest for enhancement of the cooperation that has many potentials. Their contribution to education and digitalization and sharing of their experiences is very important. I would like to reiterate our joint conclusion. North Macedonia and Finland have shared Euro-Atlantic future, and we will remain strongly committed to it. Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister. Now we will hear from the President of the Government of Finland, Madam Sanna Marin.
Prime Minister Dimitar Kovacevski, thank you so much for your hospitality and warm welcome to Skopje today. It is such a great pleasure to be here as the first time, I think, the Finnish Prime Minister has come to North Macedonia. I wanted to pay my full tribute to our relations, as Finland and Sweden will hopefully soon be also your allies in NATO. This will be an important step for us all, and our membership will also deepen the bilateral relations between North Macedonia and Finland. North Macedonia is a firm supporter of NATO's open door policy. As Russia conducts its brutal war against Ukraine, it is very important to state loud and clear that in today's Europe, there is no space or place for Russia's logic of spheres of influence. Dear Prime Minister, I want to be very clear. In Finland, like in Sweden, we fully assume the whole meaning and value of being allies. Finland's decision to seek membership of NATO is backed by wide popular support. Finns understand very clearly that the European security environment has changed. Finland and Sweden will make the whole alliance stronger and safer. Thank you for your support to our bid to become members in NATO. It is important that in this situation NATO is united in support of our membership, both in principle and in practice. We need to step up our support to Ukraine, add sanctions against Russia, and be united. This is the only way to make sure that Russia is and will stop the war. Russia has changed Europe's security environment, and we must tell our citizens very clearly how important it is to be united, resolute, and firm. North Macedonia and the EU cooperates fully on sanctions against Russia. We value your cooperation and braveness very high and are ready to help you against any countermeasures from Russia. It is vital that the EU and Western Balkans more broadly are fully aligned with each other and united. Finland is among the strongest supporters of EU's enlargement. We did our best during our EU presidency in 2019 to start negotiations with North Macedonia and Albania, as have all EU presidencies done since then. The present extremely difficult situation caused by Russia's aggression underlines that narrow national interests have to be put aside for a greater good of whole Europe. It is important not only for the countries concerned, but also for the whole region and the EU that negotiations are started now. For us, North Macedonia is a positive example of an active and constructive member of the international order. This is how Finland also wishes to be seen. North Macedonia will assume the chairmanship of the OSCE next year, and please to be assured you have Finland's fullest support in this. We are both ready to take new and important responsibilities on the international scene. As Russia and other authoritarian regimes try to undo the European security system, break the international order, and breach our common values, we must step up our efforts and support each other. Finally, I wish to say that it is my great pleasure to stay here until tomorrow. I will still have important meetings today here in Skopje, and I want to very much thank you for your hospitality and the visit that we are able to have here today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now we will hear questions from the media. Telma TV, good afternoon. I have a question for Prime Minister Kovacevski and from Prime Minister Marin. Prime Minister, we will not ask you on the French proposal because you said that you will wait for it, but has Macedonia changed its view that it will not accept bilateral issues to be part of the negotiation framework? I'm not asking you on the French proposal, but in general, have we changed the status for the bilateral issues to be included in the negotiation framework. Prime Minister Marin, have you received the French proposal for the negotiation framework, and do you find it acceptable with the bilateral issues that are requested by Bulgaria to be part of this negotiation framework? Thank you for your question regarding the negotiation framework. This is a multilateral document that should be approved by all member states of the European Union. This document later will be submitted to the candidate country. The experiences so far have shown that this document should reflect the rules and the directions according to which the process of negotiations should develop. The process of accession and opening of different chapters, all in order to harmonize the candidate country in all aspects of the European Union. Having in mind that our path towards the European integration and previously to NATO integration were filled with bilateral issues. First, the issue with the Republic of Greece, and we have the Prespa agreement today, and this should not be forgotten. It is in force. And we have a second agreement referring to bilateral issues with the Republic of Bulgaria, and that was signed for these bilateral issues to be resolved. Our government believes that the negotiation framework should be a multilateral document that will discuss and will frame the negotiations for accession to the European Union as an organization of member states, whereas bilateral issues should be resolved bilaterally with the countries concerned. And that is why we have the agreement with Bulgaria, and that is why we have the Prespa agreement with Greece. The resolution of the open issues that exist, and this can be seen in the experiences of other candidate countries that had open issues and have actually become member states, this will actually depend on the progress, and I hope that the EU member states will adopt a negotiation framework that will reflect multilateral character of the document, whereas on the other hand, the countries, in this case the Republic of Bulgaria, with whom we have bilateral open issues, will be on the level of a neighbor who wants to see its neighbor as a full-fledged member of the European Union. Thank you.
Much for the question. Finland's position is very clear. We are in favor of enlargement, and our position also concerning North Macedonia and Albania is very clear. We want to see progress happening. We want to see North Macedonia, also Albania, members of European Union in the future, and we need to go forward. I think it's also European Union's responsibility to make sure that the situation won't be frozen. So we need to also together discuss the issue with Bulgaria and make sure that we will have the pathway forward from this stage on. We will have the European Council meeting later this week when we will discuss the application status of Ukraine and Moldova, such as Commission is proposing. And I think it's also very important to discuss about the situation of Western Balkans, and we need to make sure that all the issues are solved, and it's also our responsibility to make sure that there won't be any problems. Finland is very clear on this. We want to see you part of European Union in the future, and we are willing to move forward.
Alpha TV, Prime Minister Kovacevski. What has Macedonia agreed to in the bilateral protocol between the two countries, Bulgaria and Macedonia? What does this protocol contain? The Bulgarian parliament has already discussed it. Is it here in Macedonia? What did we agree on in this protocol? When speaking of the protocol, it is in fact status and future steps regarding the implementation of the agreement on good neighborhood relations with Bulgaria. It is not a separate agreement or something new, because such protocols are made regarding the status and the following steps that should be undertaken for the implementation of the agreement that we already have with Bulgaria and the obligations of North Macedonia and Bulgaria. The protocol is under the authority of the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and the working groups. And of course, this protocol is signed on the level of the foreign ministries. And after the protocol that we will have very soon and that should be approved by the foreign ministries in Bulgaria and North Macedonia, when we will conduct the other steps of the agreement, then we will again have another protocol that will regulate the following phase of the implementation of the agreement. So in Bulgaria, they are looking into what has been done so far and what should be done in future. However, this is not a document. This is not a new document. This is not something new that is added to the existing Good Neighborhood Agreement. All documents that you're speaking of and that the public speaks of, referring to decisions that should be done in the Republic of Bulgaria, are in their assembly, according to what we can see in the media. And regarding the communication of documents, because there were news of this type, that it came to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Republic of North Macedonia. No, it is not true that we have received such document. Last question.
Finnish Prime Minister Abdullah Berisha from Anadolu Agency. Are you planning to take concrete steps regarding Turkey's demand before the NATO summit? Thank you.
Well, we are discussing Turkey as we speak. Finland, Sweden, Turkey, and NATO are discussing about the issues that Turkey has raised. From our perspective, we fulfill all the criteria when it comes to NATO membership. We are already spending over 2% of our GDP to defense, and Finland has very strong position when it comes to defense. We would stronger the whole alliance, so there shouldn't be any problems Finland entering NATO, and we are already in very deep cooperation with NATO, and we have made this cooperation even deeper for years now, so there shouldn't be any problems. And actually Turkey has said before that it wouldn't cause any problems if we would apply NATO membership. This has been their position before this spring, and when we applied, they turned their position 180 degrees, and then they raised some issues concerning terrorism and concerning arms trade. I think all of these issues can be solved, and maybe there are some misunderstandings also from Turkish side that we want to correct and make sure that they understand, for example, our legislation correctly. Of course, the situation don't look very good from NATO's perspective either. NATO has an open doors policy, and if there are some countries that are fulfilling all the criteria, there shouldn't be any problems for these countries to enter NATO. So I think it's also very much in NATO's interest to solve the situation before Madrid, and now we are having the discussions with Turkey and with NATO together with Sweden. So I think it would be very important that all of these issues will be solved before this month ending.
This will be the end of today's press conference. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.